something. Hang on. I don't have reading with me right now. Let's go to
Actually, when I try to find the main word, so I cannot find it.
Mostly main words are in the question. Oh, let me show you.
Yeah.
Let me show you a kind of reading that shows the questions very like on the line. Hang on, please wait. I can show you my I don't have it here. Hello, Beck. Hello, Boston. Okay, here, let's look at this question. So, like in this format, it's true, false, not given questions, right? Normally, you will see questions, and you can learn to identify the main words in the question. For example, coconut seeds need shade in order to germinate. What is the key word in this kind of question? In this question, number 9.
Coconut seed
need shade to germinate. We know coconut seed might be the topic of the reading already. So what is the key word that you should look for in the reading?
Sorry, teacher, can you speak louder? Not hear you so clear at the moment.
I was just going through some reading problem with Rahman.
Okay, yes.
Yes.
Okay. I failed again for this one. I failed this two. Most of my tests is failed on multiple choice.
Again?
Again.
Oh, that's sad. Like this one. So this one, coconut seed need shade in order to germinate. We might know like the first words, coconut seeds might be the topic of the reading, right? So what might be the key word?
Shade.
Need shade in order to germinate. Since it's true, false, not given questions, they can trick you on a verb like need, or on the another noun, shade, or another verb, germinate. So we have 3 keywords in this question. Sometimes we say need, but in the text might say something else. So it's a keyword. That's how you look for keywords in a sentence.
Sorry, teacher. Can you put? I think the mic next to your mouth. Otherwise, the volume is not clear and the sound is not clear.
I have to do this then.
Yes. Sorry, but you cannot hear you so clear.
Okay, I'll just do this for today. So normally, each kind of questions has a different kind of keywords, right?
Yes.
So for true, false, not given questions, the keyword can be the verb, main verb, or the object of that main verb, or another verb in a sentence. So it's different. So that's how you can find the synonyms. But if it is completion, table completion, it's different, another story to talk about. Maestra, are you still here?
Actually, the problem is find the keyword in the text.
Oh, for this one, honestly, personally, I would recommend you to find keywords in the questions, then look for that keywords in the text.
Yeah, that is my problem. In the text.
Mostly it's in order. Like you can go to our class and it's on Friday. I think you missed it.
But I watch every video.
I have some sort of practice on. Like go to this one. You will see
for completion. Yeah.
You will see in this one. I also mentioned some keyword thing. Like you need to go and look for the keyword in the text. That's how you can learn like one by one, step by step. We did this in class. I think it was when you missed it, like your internet got cut or something. This one.
Okay.
So you can download this and go through this again. And let me know if you still have questions on the keywords and synonyms. Okay.
Okay.
And this is the practice. Also in PDF file, you're supposed to download it and do it outside. There's no to do inside my class. When the files are in this clear format, it means you can download the document and do it.
Okay, I see.
Be ready, Fra. We have a practice today, a combination of every reading.
Oh.
Hello, Nam. Shall we start now? I think that's all of us today.
Yeah, I have a question, sir.
Yes, Wong, go ahead.
How can we find the answer in the passage in the fast way?
Fast way, like which one do you normally do? Do you read questions first or read the passage first? Which one do you find comfortable doing?
I think the easiest way is to read the question first.
Okay, and then what do you do? Let's say you have a MCQ format, multiple choice questions. What do you do? Read the questions?
Multiple choice in reading also difficult for me.
No, I think in general the problem is even we know the technique, but because of the level of the English, we are not reached that level. We cannot understand even the text and even hardly to find the answer.
Yes, that's the problem as well. But I think you are in level 15. You have enough English knowledge to understand that.
Okay.
15 or 15, that's like IELTS level 15.
Okay, I'm in 15.
So I forgot a lot in previous term.
Forgot? You mean
Forgot like vocab, forgot like strategy to read, forgot many things.
Well, you need to like review again from previous level. Because in this level, we don't study grammar, we don't study vocabs in details, we just do strategies and practice on reading text, listening from different since you no longer learn grammar in this level. Even though we do have grammar, it's very short. Like on Wednesday, we just did a little bit of word formation, but still it was not detailed either. So you need to go and like double check everything again by yourself because again, like I said, in this level, we no longer talk about grammar in detail. So I depend on you to look for your grammar instead. All right. So today, before we jump to our practice, we'll be discussing another types of IELTS reading questions, and it will be the last day of this week. You will be with me since starting on Monday. You will learn writing skill instead with Bong Bina and speaking skills. Okay, so matching headings. So generally, what does matching heading question look like? What does it look like generally? Have you seen
Give a text.
a text?
And then the question they will let you to fill
Matching heading?
which one belong to, yes, matching heading, right?
You give heading.
Okay, you will see.
They give heading and then we have to select.
Normally, in the reading test, do you see the questions first or reading first for matching heading?
I think we read the question first, right?
In the question format, what comes first mostly if the questions are in matching heading format? Like for MCQ or choice or true false, questions come after the reading article, right? The passage normally. But for matching heading, most of the time, the questions come first, and then you will see a text comes after the question.
Sorry, cannot hear you so clear.
Maybe. How can you hear me clearly now?
Yes.
What about now? Okay.
Yes,
So
yes.
normally in matching heading, if that passage has this kind of questions, they will give you questions first, like this format. Can you see the screen, right? We have a list of headings. We have the paragraph that you might need to match, and they will give you a reading article later after this. It's different from normal reading questions because for MCQ or true false or form completion, they come after the reading text. But this one comes first. For this kind of questions, matching list or like list of headings come
So
first.
you mean that in the question type, let's say for the
The
passage one,
format.
right? So the heading will come first
Yes, before the
in for
passage.
among the question, right?
In this question, in this matching heading format, questions come first, and you'll see a reading later.
I'm not clear now. I'm a little bit confused.
Okay. So normally, when we did the we normally do reading questions. Let me show you this. Okay. You can see the text, right? Here. Can you see my screen, everyone?
Yes.
Okay. Because this one I switched it. So in this kind of matching heading, they will show you the passage first and then the headings after. But in some kinds of tests, they will show you the questions first and then the reading later. So it's very convenient for you to know the questions type. Sometimes they will show the list of questions first and then the article after. Sometimes the article first and then list of questions after. It's very flexible. Don't worry about that one. So get yourself used to it. Okay, so have you ever done these kind of questions before, matching heading, like for fun, for example?
So many times.
So many times. What
Fair.
fail?
Do and fail, do and fail.
What
Do it
kind?
fail, fail, do it fail.
Sometimes
I
work,
always fail for this
sometimes
one.
not.
So what kind of skills do you think you need to use in matching heading?
To identify the topic, I think.
Okay, to
And
identify the topic.
and then you have to read the first passage. No, the first two paragraph and the last end two paragraph, and then in the middle you have to skim it. But
First
technique is technique, but when you're doing it's not a story.
I know, like technique, it's easier said than done.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, like I said, you need to like practice more because it depends on your like practice. Like we discussed from the first session, you need to know your speed of reading more. So in this kind of question, we might have some problems, like key problems. Normally, they put more headings than the paragraph. So you need to be very careful.
Yes.
And sometimes those headings are very, very similar in terms of meaning as well. Like they just change one word, for example. And when you read, it's also confusing when it comes to details in a paragraph and the main idea. Like sometimes we just give example, but that's not the main idea, so you might get confused. Again, in every IELTS test, let it be listening or reading, they still use synonyms and paraphrasing a lot, yes. And sometimes you might slip and you might spend too much time on this kind of questions, and it's not good because you have only 20 minutes for the whole passage. So I sent you a video, like what kind of tips have you got from the video, like general tips that you might use to apply in your questions, this kind of questions.
Like I said just before, they have to read the first two paragraphs, and if you're not gonna understand it, you have to go to the last one, the last two paragraphs, and then you go back to the middle part, and then you try to match together in order to find one correct heading.
Yes, Sarah. Sarah got disconnected again. So read. So you suggested that read the first two paragraphs in detail, skim the middle parts, try to match the heading.
We have to, as I listen to the video, we have to read the first two paragraphs and then the end, the last two paragraphs as well. And then we skim the middle part to link the overall idea, and then we judge this idea is true or not true, match or not match.
Okay.
But the example that is serving in the video is quite a little bit critical thinking. Sometimes you even cannot judge that, oh wow, it is the answer. Actually, this is the answer. But when you are matching to the text again, if something is different, and then you cannot imagine that, oh, this is the correct answer.
Yeah, it's confusing.
Like because in the video, finally the answer they gave to the reader is economic and the workspace, something like that. Wow. And then this kind of thing you have to, the point is they teach you how to eliminate all of the things. You can only find one similar to it.
Yeah, it's
another
hard.
one is you have to eliminate the another part.
Yeah, like for IELTS, sometimes it also depends on like your luck as well, especially reading and listening, because if the topic of the listening and readings are what you are familiar with, it's very easy for you to do the exercises or questions. But if the topics is like what you said, like for example like space or things like that you are not familiar with, it might be very hard for you to understand the text. That's why we try to like practice and select reading text of all genres, of all topics, so you can get yourself familiar with that. Okay, so any more tips, Wong? So we have read the first two paragraphs and the last two ones, skim the middle parts to link the idea, try to match the headings. Anything else?
No, this is what I got from the video.
Thank you, Mungkun. Anything else you got from the video, or did you watch it, Wong?
I think the same. I think the same.
The same. What name on did you watch?
I watched it.
Any extra tips you want to add?
No.
No, okay. So we have two strategies in this kind of questions. Okay, so he's back. So you can choose to read the text first and the headings after, same thing. Or you can choose to read the heading first, then the text after. What would you prefer to do before we go into detail of these two tips? For me, like personal experience, whenever I meet these questions, I skim through the heading first, like very fast. Like I just go through like the headings to see how many headings we have and how many paragraphs they give us to match. And then I'll go and read the paragraph like Bongpik said, like the first two ones in detail to see what they want to tell us about. And the last two ones also in detail, but the middle one I just skim through it real quick, like first sentence. I just read first few sentences in the middle paragraphs. That's how I personally do it. So to me, I follow the second tip strategy. Read the heading first, then the text. But what do you prefer personally? Sra? Oh, you're back, Sra. Yes, Sra, can you hear us? Am I still too soft?
Sraf is silent.
No, she's not. She's okay. What Nam? Oh, Nam, what do you do? What do you prefer?
Read the heading first.
Same thing. Bongpik,
Yeah.
heading first or text
Me
first?
too.
Heading
first.
Bongkun?
Heading first.
Sra? Sra still not speaking.
She unmute herself.
She's not muted, I checked. All right. Since we will first later. Since most of us prefer to read the headings first, let's check this all together. So we.
But can I ask you why you prefer read the text first but not read the headings?
No, the heading first one.
You also read the
Yes.
heading first, right? Okay.
Yes. Like whenever I do IELTS, I read questions first. Any kind of questions, I'll just read the questions first. That's how I do my IELTS reading test. Just questions. Okay, so let's go through the strategies all together since all of us prefer to read headings first. So normally in every kind of questions, you're supposed to read the instructions. So you know that you don't need to match all the paragraphs with the heading because sometimes you have 6 paragraphs, but they only ask you to match 4 of them. So don't waste your time reading everything or matching everything. Just complete those 4 paragraphs. So I can hear myself, okay. And then again, underline keywords. Same thing in all reading questions, you need to look for keywords.
Can I stop here? Because what I found the difficulty when we're doing the quiz inside the my class, we cannot do anything on the text, right?
You cannot.
And then another part difficult one is normally for the computer based. Normally they have 2 screens together. Not 2 screens. They divide the screen into 2, so you can suddenly do together. But for this one, you have up and down, and since up and down, it's very distracting the people.
That's
so maybe
why,
next time, I suggest the school maybe can make it into 2 for the quiz.
Okay, well, thank you. Normally, it's just a mini practice before our class start, but I will upload this kind of text from now on. As you can see, in the screen, can you see my?
Yes.
So I'll upload like in this format of the reading or listening or whatever it is. That means you can download this outside. So it is in PDF, but you can download this outside of my class platform, and you can do on your phone or on your computer screen, and you can like zoom in, zoom out. It's easier from now on.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's reading practice.
But one thing about the inside the MyFile is we can know the answer immediately.
Yes, that's another part. That's why.
And then they will give why they choose this one is correct. This is the good part of it.
Exactly.
We cannot reject, but another part when we're doing it is very annoying or up down.
That's why you can choose only one wrong. You either want the answer immediately or you want to wait, but easy to do. Choose only one.
No, I choose to improve the system.
Okay.
I divide it into 2 screens.
Because we want to give you answer immediately. That's what we do in this format. But if it's for practice, for you to easy to look at the questions, we do this format. So we'll try to do both. Okay, continue. Where are we? All right, keywords again, same thing. So here, and identify similar titles. Sometimes they have confusing titles, like we said earlier, like they are very similar. So we have 8 titles or 8 headings on the list here. Can you tell me what are a very similar titles? What headings are very confusing with one another, each other? From 1 to 8. What are the similar headings? Okay, 8 headings. Identify the ones that are similar to each other. Which ones? Done? Number 1, courses that require a high level of commitment. 2, a course title with 2 meanings. the equal importance of two key issues, applying a theory in an unexpected context, financial benefits of studying, surprising course title, different names for different outcomes, and last one, the possibility of attracting the wrong kind of student. So what are the confusing headings that are a little similar to each other?
A course title with two meanings
And with
different names for different outcomes.
okay, thank you. Any other confusing titles? Yeah, that's possible because two meanings and then different names and different outcomes. You might be confused and you might put them after one another, but we don't know if it's right or wrong or not, since it has similar meanings.
But how about the equal importance of two key issues?
With what one? With number 2 or number 7?
The number 2, I think, right?
So a course title with two meanings and the equal, yes. Important of two key issues.
Because of two.
Possible, yes. Because they both mention two, right? But two meanings or two key issues. So you need to identify these kind of confusing headings or similar headings so you can decide which one goes where, or maybe there's only one correct or something. And again, like Bongpek said, you read the first paragraph or two paragraphs, your choice, in detail to get the main idea and start to choose the heading. So after you're in detail, you should start matching what headings go with this paragraph. So you can eliminate something since it's in detail. It's easier. Repeat, okay. Okay, look at this one. So we have one paragraph. Too small, I guess. That's weird. Is this big enough, everyone?
Yes.
Okay, so maybe you can read this one first and try to think what kind of headings fit with this paragraph. But normally, it is recommended that you should read the first two sentences and the last sentence in detail and pay attention to them and ignore the middle parts because mostly the middle parts are just examples or like explanation. So main ideas should be in the first 2 or 3 sentences and the last one. That's how you should focus on the paragraph. Like I said from the start, read only the first few sentences in detail. That's the key, and the rest skim through it. All right, you should finish it. So we've got 8 headings. So the first line, they talk about how like, the course is intended for the prospective arson investigator. Mostly, you know what arson means, right? Arsonist.
I think it's point number 8, right?
Hang on, well, let me go through the keyword first. You know what arson?
Hello here.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, very clear now.
Okay, so what do we mean by arson or arsonist? Arson.
I just know the investigator, but the arson is for the business.
Arson is a crime or a crime that you set fire on someone else's property.
Oh my god.
Yes, it's a crime.
ចឹងពេលខ្លះឈឺក្បាលដោយសារពាក្យចឹងក្បាលមក
There's a lot more and do research. Okay, arson here on whether a fire was deliberately set. So deliberately means purposely, like intentionally. Okay, so we've got 8 headings. So the first few lines, they tell us what is the purpose of this course. And the last one, the example suggests how dishonest and illegal behavior, blah, blah. So we have 8 headings. Wong Pich said possibly the last one.
Wrong kind. Yes, number 8.
Okay, so the possibility of attracting the wrong kind of student. Okay, what do you think on? Which one? This paragraph. Nam?
I don't understand the text.
Okay. Which one on? Which line do you not understand?
The whole paragraph.
Okay, let's together help Nam understand this text. So the title is Nam. What's the title?
What's the purpose of gaining knowledge?
Very good. And normally in paragraph, where can you find topic, sentence, or main idea?
The first 2 paragraphs and the last 2.
The last two sentences. Okay. So in this section, they explain how the course was originally intended for a group of people who investigate the arson crime. Okay. Like here, naturally, the course is intended for prospective arson investigators. So not for those who commit the crime, but those who investigate the crime. And they explain the prospective arson investigator mean who can learn all the tricks of the trade for detecting blah, blah, blah. Okay. But contrast. So, but wouldn't this also be the perfect course for prospective arsonists? So we have the same terms, prospective and prospective. So prospective means in the future. Like prospective arsonist means those who want to be an arsonist, those who want to become someone who sets fire on someone else's property. So the key term is line number 2 on. Wouldn't this be the perfect course for prospective arsonists to sign up for? See, so the course was originally for the investigator. អ្នកគេស៊ើបអង្កេតខាងហ្នឹងប៉ុន្តែ they have one contradicting line and they said maybe the criminal might also sign up to join this course as well since they will know the tricks how to like set fire like safely, like they know how to avoid the investigations. And the last line here, like I said, the middle parts are mostly examples or like explanation, but not main idea. So the last line, they suggest how dishonest and illegal behavior with the help of higher education can creep into. So this one just explains how that like education can creep or can like make people like, commit crime, something like that as well. So the headings, we've got 8. All of this does not mention anything about the prospective students or the intention of the course because only one paragraph. Like we did not see any word of commitment, so it's not commitment either. We don't see 2 meanings. There's no title of 2 meaning, not the first one or second one, no either. We did not see any importance of key issues, not also in the text either. There's no theory or context. There's nothing about money issue in this one. Number 6, there's no title mentioned in the text, in the paragraph. We don't see different names or different outcomes, but what we can see in number 8 is they mention student. And from this text, we know there are 2 groups of students that mention investigators and arsonists. So the answer is number 8. like possibility of attracting the wrong kind of students. Like you plan to have student
Yes,
A.
because of the sentence number 2.
Yes, we plan to get student A, but student B also join. And the key sentence number 2 right here on but. So group 1 and group 2. So 2 groups of students. Bongkun, are you still with us?
Yes, yes.
You haven't like said anything at all.
I
It's very confusing. So you got to like practice more for this kind of like reading text. I'll upload this video to our my class as well. Like she explains in detail the difference between 2 strategies. Like you read the headings first or read the questions first. Sorry, or read the text first. You can choose to do what first. That's just a short practice. So any questions so far? Like the main tip is to practice everyone. That's how you get yourself used to it. Maya Isra, are you still with us? Isra? Self-muted. Any questions before we jump into practice today?
No.
No, okay. So can you please go to my class and download this document on the bottom right here? You can take it out and you can see it on your phone or on your computer screen and you can zoom in and zoom out your choice better. And if you have 2 devices, you also can like read questions on one and read the text on another one. This is solely practice. So apply all the tips that you've received so far, like these 2 weeks, and complete this exercise or these reading questions. Anyway, I set up a whole lesson for your practice since I won't be with you next week. So you will have to do the listening and the reading practice extra. And here's your assignment. So complete all the practice and write your answers in another document and attach it in the comment below of this one. And here are the audio files and here's the questions. That's for next week when you won't be with me. I'll check your work on Monday the following week.
Cái đầu tiết đó môn kia ngay.
Ai cái đầu? Lại flex. Máu darling. Did you get the file yet, everyone? Download it out.
How can we find? Where can we find this kind of the exam? We go to which one?
This one, you go to.
No, but how to go to this place? How to go to this section? Because you just
section?
only see the class. No, about this one, the unit 2, right? So
can you share share your screen, please, so I can tell you?
I'm with my computer at the moment, so.
Oh, you use Zoom on your phone, right?
No, on my laptop, on my iPad, but at the moment I don't know how. Let me check from here. Let me join the Zoom with my laptop.
Okay.
But my laptop is cracked with the Zoom.
Can you get the file on? Or another way, I can just drop the file into our Telegram group. Okay, so I'll drop it here in our group. Hang on. I'll attach a file of this one into our Telegram group as well, just in case some of you might have a hard time getting that from my class. Okay, I sent it to our group in Telegram. If you cannot get from my class, you can get from Telegram as well.
So we have to do all of it.
Yes.
It's like a quiz, right?
It's a practice. So everyone gets the file now, right?
Papa, can you show us?
Show in Telegram.
It's the same file. Well, if you cannot get from my class, get from Telegram. Both are the same. So let's scroll down. Yes, it's good for you. And lesson 2 one.
Lesson 2. Yes.
Yes. Wait. Here, yes. That's a practice. You can download it more.
Oh, so it directly hit up like in your. I thought it is different, right? From because inside your platform, our platform, what we see is different, right?
Yes, it's different.
Oh.
Because I have
Okay.
the teacher account, so it looks different from your student account.
Okay, that's right.
You can download that out, or you can download from Telegram as well. Both are the same. So you can look at the questions on different device that you have on. So we have everything, and I'm gonna let you do that peacefully. How can you submit the answer? That's the question.